Today I want to talk about bends and vibrato, and that's the problem we're going to solve today. Bending is really the first thing to learn in the order of these two, even though vibrato seems simpler, especially. So if you're having trouble with vibrato, make sure you can bend a bit. So we're going to go through bending a little bit here. Bending is about keeping the pressure on the note and then changing the direction of the motion so that the pressure stays on, but then it rides up the fret. Okay, so one of the ways you can first start to just understand this, just take your hand over the top. This way you don't feel like you have to squeeze the neck and all that. Take your hand over the top, push down a note with one finger or even two, and just make sure a note comes out. And then just pull the string up as you're keeping the pressure on it. And there you go. That's the physics of a bend, right? So then when we're playing normally, the idea is we keep the pressure on. We can have as many fingers on the string as we want. Only the note that we push down, only the highest finger that we have on will be heard. Whatever's closest to the bridge is the note that will be heard. So these two fingers on these two notes will not be heard. Only this one will be heard. So, and it just makes it easier to pick the string up. So if I wanted 3 additional fingers on, say I'm going to hold the pinky, bend it up like that, or do a bigger bend, it's just easier to pick the fingers up or the string up the more fingers I have on it. And so the motion is generally this doorknob rotation motion. Okay, so in order to do it, I keep the pressure on and then I'll just sort of spin the doorknob. Okay, now the thumb can be over the top, but there really shouldn't be too much squeezing of the neck. We don't want to hold on to it. We don't want to grip it that tight. If we do, it's a little difficult to control. We actually want to be a little freer. So we can have the thumb over the top for some leverage, makes for sort of an easy rotation. But then there's still a bit of space in the palm. You can see a little hole right there. So it's not flush to the back, and that's what's really important. Keep that back of the wrist away. Keep any sort of back bend like this away. We want it like this, or even if we're approach it from the back, we want sort of a neutral position to the wrist. Okay, so some bends, pick the note, keep the pressure on, lift it up the frets like that, There we go. You can have the right hand on the lower strings to stop them from ringing out by accident. A sympathetic resonance is referred to, especially like I've got high gain channel on and all that. So the guitar is very sensitive when you do that. So I pick it up like that, and you'll find that like a faster bend, the note speaks a lot more clearer, punchier, right? Because the decay isn't as strong yet. So with every note, there's an attack and a decay. And so we get a very strong attack. We get the note sort of as soon as the pick leaves the string. And then it gradually goes away on its own. So if I do it slowly, the string is decaying, or the note is decaying. The string is getting tighter and tighter and tighter and going back to being still. So, but the harder I hit it, let's hit it a little harder. There you go. It still decays, but it's a longer period, and we also get a stronger attack. So there you have it, right? So once we do that, then we want to be able to lower the note. So I pick it, I bend it up, and now I lower it, and I maintain the note. Now, a nice place to do this is sort of you're brand new to this. Do it in the middle of the neck. Do it 10th fret, 12th fret, 13th, something like that. Just because that's where the strings are the loosest. It's a nice feel under the fingers. Okay, we'll get the vibrato, all right? But that's the basics of bending. Do it with finger 1. Finger 2, so 1 and 2 on the string. And again, you could even do it, you don't have to have the thumb over the top of the neck, you can do it entirely without. Show this kind of angle. And you could also, let's say I do it on the G string, you could actually pull it down towards the floor. and the note will also go up. Doesn't matter whether we actually physically bend towards the ceiling or towards the floor, because both shorten the string length, so the pitch always goes up for that reason. So I had a friend who bent down all the time. He just liked to curl his fingers like that. Doable, you know? Was just a huge Eric Clapton fan from like the 1960s and stuff. And so watching his playing, I wanted to play like that, so like that, or even like the, it's more vibrato, but just the bend, thumb over the top, and using that rotation, not too tight with the fingers, so we still have some nice room behind the palm there. Okay, so now let's talk about how that allows us to do vibrato. So there's really sort of two main types of vibratos. I call the rock vibrato and the classical vibrato. The rock vibrato uses this sort of leveraged thumb over the top, and we just bend the note up. I'll use that 13 again, that C note. I'll pick the note, bend it up a little bit, and I just do that doorknob motion just very minimally. So I can do it slow. Again, string decay, so I keep saying string. Note decay. You see, it's very light. It's very light. Thumb doesn't have to be a part of this. Okay, so thumb can be, but it's not squeezing. That's the point I'm really trying to get across. There's no pressure going to the back of the neck to help me. All the pressure is going into the front to keep the string pinned down. Right? So all I'm doing is keeping the pressure on the note, and I'm raising and lowering it. And then you just keep it very light, and you just give it that minimal shake. Just try to give it a little rhythm. Da 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 da. Right, then a little faster. Da 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 da. There you have it. Just a little. As you get more comfortable, you could do a stronger bend and a wider vibrato. Right? You could even do it with the fingers, with that pull down kind of method. Just watch it. For second string, it's like just barely enough. You can pull it right off the fretboard, and then your note goes way up like that, which is a cool effect on its own, but it's never a great feeling because you lose the grip for the string, right? So that's the rock vibrato, right? You can do it finger 1, finger 2, finger 3, and finger 4. All right, the other one is the classical vibrato. So the classical vibrato is the way you actually vibrato on a nylon string guitar, which is a softer material than the metal strings, and the nylon strings don't react to the rock vibrato the same way because since they're so much softer, they're not able to really hold pitch as well. So what we do is we play the note, and we go like this is sort of back and forth. And what this does is it allows us to vibrato the note, but it stays in tune. The rock vibrato always sharpens it. So if I'm like, classical vibrato. Here, it's definitely very different. So worth working on, and a little easier. Definitely, it's just lighter than the rock vibrato. Rock vibrato will always ask you to sort of like dominate the string. Even if it's not fast. Or even if it's something thumb off the back and you're using just the arm, it's more the Clapton vibrato. It's a very vertical style vibrato. Right, but just use your ears and your sort of preferences for how you want a vibrato. And it's good to learn them all because then you could do them all whenever you want them. So if this is helpful and you're having trouble with basic techniques, vibrato, bending, and you want structure in your learning, please feel free to message me. I'd love to help you out. Thank you. Have a good night.